Good afternoon. You're listening to WXCD 107.3 FM here at Elwood City. We're here for the weekly news wrap-up. We have the beautiful Cassie over here as my co-host today from elwoodcity.org. How are you?
I am not that great, actually.
Yeah, if you guys maybe listened to the last week's show, I was sick. And I think that I forewarned you that I had created the super virus.
Yeah. Yeah, and I definitely got it.
And you managed to catch it from across the room. That's pretty...
I know.
I told you it was a super virus.
I know, right? And it's like all I could think about like this week. I was like, I have to tell her that she infected me.
I'm sorry that I made you sick.
It's okay. I'm here.
But yeah, I was going to say, at least you're here. You're a little bit sniffly. But,
yeah, happens, I guess. That time of year.
Yeah, I know that... Sid was worried that he was going to kind of get a mixture of both viruses because we had like the head cold, chest cold virus, and then we had like the flu virus.
Yeah.
And he was like, man, I'm going to end up getting them both at the same time. I'm going to be like the Walking Dead.
Yeah, right. Oh, no. Did he get sick?
He did.
Oh, did he?
He did, yeah.
Him.
And he had to go to work. I mean, he has no sick days left,
know,
because we're kind of coming towards the end of the year. He's already used them. So, yeah, he went to work sick.
Oh, bless him. Hopefully he's starting to get better.
He just started feeling better just like about 2 days ago. And my son is the only one who's still kind of lingering with that chest cold thing. And that's because he got it last.
Right.
So it's made its rounds. I tried to do the best that I could. You know, I sprayed down my doorknobs and my sinks and all that with Lysol. And I tried to, like, get the things that people touch all the time. But when it's the kind of virus where you're, like, coughing and sneezing your germs into the air, there's not a whole lot you can do.
No, I think at that point you just kind of have to accept your fate.
Right, yeah.
That's the problem with living in a big household. But, I mean,
yeah.
To be fair, you know, if you're going to have a life, I mean, out of your own household, you're going to get sick.
You're going to come in contact with germs. It's just the way it is.
It's just life.
That's life. So, we want to remind everybody that the weekly news wrap-up is brought to us by elwoodcity.org, which is where Cassie works. And anything that we talk about on the show, you can always read more about it in detail by going to elwoodcity.org. All right?
Yes.
So, what are we going to talk about this week?
Well, first things first, I just wanted to make a note that we have, like, already accepted all of our photo submissions for our Halloween
contest.
For our Halloween contest, and now we're into the voting stage, and all the photos are on Facebook, and we encourage everyone to like their favorite costumes. You can like as many as you want.
I'm going to check that out.
Yeah, there's some really cute costumes on there. I'm not going to say who I like best because that's biased, but there are some really cute ones. And voting for that ends November 11th. So definitely.
All right, so y'all can vote all the way up until like Veterans Day. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that like it's like Veterans Day, November 11th.
I just know that it's next Friday, so it's a whole week of voting.
Okay. I know it's the 11th though, because we have our own Jerry Corbin is actually in another studio as we speak working on his veteran special.
Aw. Yeah.
It's pretty cool. We just recently got this new equipment in where people can call in to do phone interviews.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so he actually, for his veteran special, which is going to run next week, he has, like all these vets calling in, and I think it's awesome.
That is
I'm
really
excited.
Great.
Yeah. So anyway, you said that the voting is on Facebook.
Yes.
Is there a link to that on the elwoodcity.org site?
We do actually have the link posted in an article. So if you want to go there first and then go over to our Facebook page, it's all linked together.
Right.
So you definitely can.
Okay. Cool. All right. So what else is going on this week for the news?
Well, speaking of voting.
Oh my.
Let's talk about the presidential candidate.
Let's talk about it.
Here, the election.
Are you registered to vote? I can't ask you who you're going to vote for because we're not allowed to give those kinds of opinions.
No, but I can say that I don't like either of the candidates.
A lot of people say that. Everywhere I turn, a lot of people are saying that they're going to go ahead and vote, but it's really just the lesser of the two evils, that they don't actually like either one of them.
You know what? I know, I just can't believe who we have running for the election this year. I'm in absolute shock. I mean, I feel like every other country is kind of laughing at us. Like I said, my husband's from England, so I get a lot of opinions from England, and they're like, wow, you guys, are just absolutely screwed.
Yeah, I've heard that from several people that I've talked to who live in other countries, and they're just like, you guys are turning into a joke over there.
Yeah. Well, like Canada's laughing at us. I know that.
Well, there's a video actually of the Russian President Putin laughing so hard he has tears coming down his face at clips of one of those candidates at one of the debates, and he was watching the clips and he was laughing so hard that he had tears running down his face. And I was just like, oh my.
It's definitely a joke. I mean, it's really upsetting.
So do you think that you'll vote?
I am actually not registered to vote.
Oh.
I don't actually feel as though like the people's vote counts, because it really doesn't with the electorals and everything. So I just don't really take that much interest in doing it, because they're going to do what they're going to do anyways.
All that much. This particular candidacy run has been more entertaining to me than anything else.
Oh my gosh!
But I don't like politics. I don't, because I believe the same thing. I don't believe that what my opinion actually is has any weight or bearing in the way the country will be run.
They're just going to do what benefits the government the most. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah. So that's why I don't vote. When I was asked if I would like to re-register to vote, I said no, and it's just because I don't believe that my opinion matters as far as when you get up to the high ranks of government.
It really doesn't. I mean, at least in my opinion, it doesn't, from what I've seen and what's been proven.
Right, and true, and we have to mention that those are only the opinions of you and I, not WXCD or ElwoodCity.org. There's opinions of two girls.
Me and you.
That's right.
So anyways.
Well, how about, I know that we were talking before the interview, another election that's happening. There's a little bit of
the state representative. Oh my gosh, yeah. We actually did a press release on it the other day. We were sent it about the Beaver County Times rescinded their endorsement of State Representative Jarrett Gibbons after he supposedly lied about details of his opponent, Aaron Bernstein.
Now, I had read something similar to that. I don't know if it was an outright issue of lying as much as it was things were taken out of context and, I guess, twisted.
Well, I mean, I kind of just assume that if things are going to be taken out of context, that's basically kind of a lie. Whether it's a minor one or a big one, it's still not the truth.
I know that somebody had sent me, the whole thing about it, because we had our owner, Cindy Antonassi, actually do an interview with each of them, which she thought that they were both lovely candidates. She liked talking to both of them. And I had asked her if she had heard the accusations on TV that were made. And she actually asked Aaron Bernstein about it directly, because we have no opinion here either way, And he replied and told her that it was negative campaigning against him. And that kind of thing happens all the time, though. I mean, if you see the Hillary ads or the Trump ads, I mean, it's all negative campaigning. I don't want to say that society are sheep, but many are. And they'll listen to what they see on TV, which is why I think that they were trying to, pull their support of it, because they didn't want to be associated with it. And I was going to say, I was just reading the story that they had sent us, and it says that the Calkins media story falsely accuses the 10th Legislative District Republican challenger Aaron Bernstein of saying that he supports the cuts in education and higher property taxes. The paper's editorial board pulled the planned endorsement of Gibbons. He responded they said that he never said that. And so I understand negative campaigning, but you just have to be careful.
Well, I think that
you have to be careful of what you say.
Whenever it comes to negative campaigning, and that's probably why they
I think probably
rescinded their
the most
endorsement.
Negative campaigning that I've seen recently is between Pat Toomey and Katie McGinty. So I started seeing ads that were negatively addressing Katie McGinty as far as like 6 months ago. What it said was, I guess Katie McGinty was all for raising energy taxes. And the commercial showed kids running around at the playground, and the mothers are always sitting on the benches, and they were like, oh, they have so much energy. Typical thing a mom would say. And the other mom's like, shh, don't say that too loud. Katie McGinty will come and tax their energy. I just was like, I thought it was comical, but, there's been, now that we get closer and closer and closer to the elections, there's so much negative campaigning commercials going on that it's almost like comedy spots at this point.
Oh, it really is. I mean, you know, this goes back to like other countries laughing at us, and I can't even necessarily blame them because that's really what it seems like.
Yeah. And I've noticed that out of all of the candidates for all the offices, you know, that are running all these ads, you know who doesn't feel the need to negatively campaign that much is Trump. You don't, like, you'll see a Hillary campaign where they'll have 20 voice clips of something Trump has said all jumbled together. But there aren't really that many of Hillary because I think that Trump just feels confident that she's taking care of her own guillotine situation. Yeah.
Well, have you seen the like newest thing where a lot of her emails were released?
Yeah.
And
That's what I mean.
Really
Like,
hurt
he
her
didn't need to
campaign.
negatively campaign against her because she kind of did it herself.
That really hurt her campaign.
Oh, yeah,
I
definitely.
mean, and rightfully so. There was some really horrible things in there regarding her as a person. You know, like I said, I don't really have an opinion on either of them. I don't like either of them.
Right.
But just to be president, you know, like she's stolen from the White House whenever Bill left. You know, she took all just random furniture and, you know,
I
cutlery.
never even heard about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never even heard about all that.
Yeah, whenever Bill left the White House, she stole furniture and cutlery and just random stuff that she didn't need to steal because she has so much money.
Oh,
And
yeah. I mean, do you understand that when you are complete with your presidency, okay, for the rest of your life, your income base is still like $225,000 a year. And that's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Well, and they get
most of the people I
protected as
know,
well.
most of the people that I know are living somewhere between 25 and 60,000 a
I
year.
know.
And we're talking about people with kids and college funds that
Yeah.
need to be created. And these people are literally living off of under 65,000 a year. And I think that it's crazy that when these people make all this money, they have the need to take anything.
Oh, I know, but it just goes to show what kind of person that she is. I'm not, you know, again, in any way saying that I'm endorsing Trump.
Oh, right.
Because I think, you know, he's
you already said
equally
you don't like
just-
either one of them.
He's equally just as corrupt in my mind, you know? Like, I'm sure that you've heard of Mac Miller, the rapper from in Pittsburgh that's now, like, as popular as Wiz Khalifa. He made that one song that was called Donald Trump. And don't you know, like, a year later, Donald Trump tried to sue him for, like, $100,000 because he used his name in a song.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, again, I really don't like either of them.
Huh, that's crazy. All right. Do we have anything else going on, our local news?
Actually, you know what, this week it's a lot of just talking about like things that have been going on. And like the next thing I'm going to bring up, whenever I was doing the police reports this week, I came across like about 4 or 5 different calls about just overdoses in the past week.
I know, it's been terrible.
And I was talking to one of the police officers and I said, you know, like, what is up with this? Why are there so many overdoses, like, just all of a sudden? You know, we both kind of agreed that people are getting a little bit brave with these overdoses because
Because they believe that the Narcan's
Yeah.
going to save them.
Yeah, because, you know, Narcan's become so readily available. And, you know, I actually just saw something on Facebook today about one guy in the local area overdosed 12 times within the month.
I believe that there was a judge who tried to pass a bill saying that if you are in need of Narcan, that you should have to pay for it. They impose fines on people all the time.
Yep.
So I think he's right. I think if you're going to put yourself in a position to need someone to administer Narcan to you, that you should then be given a citation
Yes.
and be forced to pay for it. Because maybe if they start cracking down on people paying for the Narcan, then people will begin to be a little bit more careful.
Well, the thing is with that, it's like, again, it's medical based. So how are they going to forcefully charge these people who, you know, no offense, but I'm sure that they probably don't really pay their medical bills to begin with.
Okay, well, it's kind of like the domino effect, though. Okay, say a person overdoses and they get a judgment citation against them to pay for the Narcan. And
Then if they don't pay it, then they get a warrant.
yeah, that's what
Kinda
I'm
what you're-
saying. So
okay.
eventually, as the domino effect continues, they will then be picked up and arrested.
But
and when
what-
they go to jail, they'll be forced to get clean.
What I'm thinking is that, again, because it's medical based, that the police, in that sense, are not allowed to get involved with it. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Well, I think
because
the
they're
reason-
very weird about that.
The reason that a lot of the police departments and EMS and fire and everybody's being trained to use Narcan is because the quicker you use it, the more effective it is. And I think that in the hustle and bustle and busyness of, you know, what's going on in the city, that they just wanted everybody to be able to, you know, first first responders to be able to save someone's life. But another thing that I believe, you're talking about this guy's 12 times in a month. I believe that if you have to be administered Narcan more than twice, then you should get a jail sentence for it. You know what I mean? Even if they have to pass a new law that, that outlines why you're being arrested, I think they should do it.
Oh, I think that they should too, because
I think if you're a compulsive drug user and you're overdosing and
you're using our services that most people have to pay for in a great amount, how expensive is it for someone who has insurance to get an ambulance? You know what I mean?
It is
like
a lot.
$2,000 or something like that?
It ranges, like $900 to $2,000 depending
well, that's
on
crazy,
the ambulance company and where you're going.
It's not fair to us as
to pick up the bill, right? And that's what I think it is. Like, if somebody doesn't pay child support, they get put in jail. I think that you should be fined for the use of Narcan and the ambulance and all that other stuff, and you should be responsible for it. And then if you don't pay it, go to jail.
Right. Yeah.
And then you'll get people out there that be like, oh well, if you put them in jail, then we're still paying for it because we're paying for all their food and everything like that. But
maybe they won't be allowed to be an addict anymore, though.
That's what I mean. You gotta do something to kick some of the society.
This isn't helping people. I mean, it's helping people in the moment where it's like, yeah, they're no longer going to be overdosing. But what are they actually doing to actively help these people?
Yeah, I mean, I believe that it started out as a good campaign to save lives because I think that they thought that it would be a wake-up call, that somebody would be like, oh my gosh, I almost died. Thank God my life was spared. Now I should do something to better it. But instead, people are just like, oh, well, I'm going to do this. And somebody will just save me. That's why I think that there should be laws and fines imposed and jail time if necessary. And I think that they should take the money raised up from the citations and the fines. Again, this is my opinion. I'm just a girl. They should take that money and put it into drug treatment programs for people.
Yeah.
And put it into long-term healing and fixing a community.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Like if I get pulled over for a speeding ticket and my fine is $25, you look on the back of that speeding ticket, there is automatic, issuances of, it says donation, but you have to pay your whole ticket. And there's all the supporting factors. So I think that if you get a citation for them needing to use Narcan, that there should be part of your fines should be to go to pay for the building of new drug treatment facilities.
Yeah.
So not only do you have to pay for them saving your life, but you will then be contributing to them possibly saving the lives of people in the future by getting them on the right path.
Yeah, right.
So, I mean, it's just my opinion.
No, I completely agree. It just really bugs me as a taxpayer myself. And, like my mom's a nurse and everything. And, I know whenever I have to go to the hospital or to the doctor even, my bills are really expensive and I have insurance.
Yeah.
And, the reason that it's so expensive is because we are paying for those people that don't pay. And they don't necessarily, quote unquote, have to pay because it's medical based. And this just seems to be like it's just another thing that people are getting away with that taxpayers are paying for.
Well, I mean, there's always a trial and error with everything that people do. And I believe that this whole administering Narcan is going to be trial and error. And I think that they're going to tweak it and perfect it. And I believe that legislation is going to pass laws to support it in a good direction. This judge was the first one to stand up to say, hey, we need to fine these people for the price of it. I think that that's just the first step. And I think that hopefully it will start, a spark of a fire that will continue to grow, and they will build laws and legislation that support a better future.
I hope so, because, again, like, even with the price of the EpiPen going up and, that being less readily available for people who need it, but Narcan becoming more readily available for people who need it, and it's just not really fair.
Yeah.
Because no one wants to have an allergic reaction, and that's a very
I was on
serious
Facebook,
thing.
and there were mothers who were just up in arms that they were so worried that their children were going to suffer, the effects of an allergic reaction and not have the income to support, paying for these expensive EpiPens.
See, and this is the thing. This is why, I'm not necessarily going to say voting matters, because you and I just discussed that it doesn't necessarily matter. But this is why standing up for what you believe in matters, because, the people that we elect into office have the power to change these things. And even the stuff with like big pharma and making the EpiPen so expensive, like, we need people in our government that regulate these things.
Right. And who can lobby on our behalf.
Yes, exactly. So, I guess
it kind of puts us in a hypocritical position, because we're telling everybody, vote for the people who are going to stand for what you believe in, but then we just said we don't vote. However, I'm only saying that I'm not voting for the large upper government because I believe that once you get that high,
It doesn't matter.
But when you're talking about local, smaller governments, I believe that it does matter because these are people that you can reach on a personal level. You know, you can
Like the
cry
council
out-
meetings.
Right. You cry out to your local governments and let your opinions be heard and, you know, let the people who have the power to change things take you up on it, you know?
Yeah, right. So I guess overall,
When is our next council meeting here in Elwood City?
the next council meeting it'll
Okay.
be the second Monday of November.
All right. The second Monday is the 14th.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, so it's not this coming up Monday. It'll be the next Monday.
Okay, yeah, that's right. It'll be the 14th of November.
Okay. All right. So the 14th of November is the next council meeting. And again, this is where you need to address the issues that are really hitting home and really the issues that are for our community. I hope you guys all make it out there, you know, to the council meeting on the 14th. And remember, my opinion is only my opinion. Cassie's opinion is her opinion. But in my opinion, if you're going to, you know, stand up, do it in a peaceful, intelligent manner.
Yes.
Because people who go there and they're emotionally driven, they don't get heard. So just take my advice or leave it. All right. Well, Cassie, do we have any other news for the weekly news wrap up?
That is all, Nikki. I think I've taken up enough of your time.
All right, then that's a wrap. Make sure you tune in next week for more here on WXCD 107.3 FM.